Given your effort in the rescue of big banks in the aftermath of the financial crisis, and I believe you represent certain cautious pragmatism in this effort.
Represented what?
Cautious pragmatism.
I'll take that.
So, what do you think of the rhetoric?
I've been called worse.
So what do you think of the rhetorics or value exemplified by Bernie Sanders that the political establishment and Wall Street together caused the financial turmoil, and the tax on financial speculation should be imposed, and the money be used for egalitarian purpose? What sort of money in law and money literature is it?
Look, I think complex societies have a deep problem, which is that there are certain fields which you don't learn about if you don't sort of believe in them. So let's take an area away from finance. The regulation of nuclear power. Well, you probably think that the people who regulate nuclear power should be kind of well-trained and experienced in nuclear engineering. But why would you go into nuclear engineering if you didn't kind of believe in nuclear power? If you didn't have a kind of bias that nuclear power was okay, what would you do? You go to graduate school in nuclear engineering? Then what do you do? You work for a nuclear. What do you do with your nuclear engineering degree? You work with a nuclear power plant company. You could be an academic, but if you were an academic who was going to be a good academic in nuclear engineering, you'd probably have some connections with industry and all of that. So there is a problem with questions like derivatives, which is that you sort of want policy made by experts, but the process of becoming an expert is likely to cause you to be a bit cognitively captured. And it's a deep problem that is not unique to finance. It is certainly true that because of the role of money in our political system, there are biases that creep in. I used to remark during the debates on Dodd-Frank that there were 5 lobbyists for every member of the House or Senate who were working the issue. And there weren't very many lobbyists who were working on the other side. So is there a problem? Is there a problem? Yes. Are there further restrictions and regulations that I would favor that don't happen in part because of the power of moneyed interests? Yes. Is there a way of having a 100% safe financial system? No. I go back and forth on the merits of Senator Sanders' transactions tax. What makes me a cautious pragmatist is that I think hard about questions like, if you put the tax on and all the trading goes to London, you won't raise much revenue, you'll lose your regulatory nexus with the trading, and why exactly will you be better off? If you put that tax on, who is actually going to pay that tax? Is Goldman Sachs going to pay that tax, or is Goldman Sachs going to charge a slightly higher commission that covers that tax, and then it's going to be paid by the Nebraska pension fund? Do we think that markets with less liquidity are better markets? If you look at the history of financial crises, 80% of the financial distress in the history of the world is associated with banks lending too much money against real estate, and then the real estate collapsing in value. There's no derivatives, there's no high frequency anything, there is a kind of speculation, but not the kind of speculation people have in mind when they talk about people with their crazy computers. So you can argue it both ways, but it seems to me what you have to do is try to trace in a very careful and analytical ways what the consequences are. And I think there is a problem, which is that the people who are likely to be best at doing that are likely to have some bias towards believing in the activity. And I think that's a general problem in regulating complex activities in our society, and finance is a prominent example.